Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. Today we're going to be in Matthew chapter 6. We're going to kind of continue on the Sermon on the Mount, where we talked a little bit about yesterday. And Jesus here in Matthew chapter 6 deals with two things that threaten to take God's place in our lives as we live out this life in the kingdom. One is people, and then two is money. There's a strange thing that happens to the person who wants to follow the Lord in relationship to people. And we basically have two different reactions under two different scenarios. We act two different ways under two different scenarios. Around people who are of the world, who do not appreciate our faith, who might challenge our faith, our tendency is to hide and to do what Jesus said in the last chapter, in chapter 5, to put our lamp under a basket, to hide our light so that we won't be ridiculed or looked down on for our faith. And so when we're around hostile crowd, we tend to clam up. But ironically, when we're around other religious people and other people of like-minded faith, we tend to do the opposite. We tend to want to flaunt our spirituality. We want everybody to know what we are doing. And this creates a double-minded conflict of interest within our hearts. On one hand, we're hiding our faith because we don't want to be ridiculed. On the other hand, we're flaunting our faith so that we'll receive praise from people. And in both cases, who are we truly serving? We've got to ask ourselves that. Well, are we serving God or are we serving people? If our devotion to the Lord either is hidden around a certain group of people or flaunted in a different set of people, then it's not really truly genuine. And what Jesus is teaching us here is that we serve a God who should have our utmost attention at all times. And we should be serving Him at all times, no matter who we're around. Remember, yesterday we saw that Jesus said, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." If you're doing the work of the kingdom, you're living a life of love, your light is naturally going to shine on the dark world around you. Here in Matthew chapter 6, he teaches us there that we should not merely engage in spiritual activities. He specifically mentions giving to the poor, prayer, and then also fasting. We don't do those things to flaunt them, but we do them to be more devoted to the Lord. And so if we have to, let's just do those things in secret so we won't be tempted to flaunt what we're doing. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing when you're giving to the poor. When you pray, go to your Father in secret. Don't pray these big elaborate prayers in front of everybody to make a big show out of it. And also when you're fasting, don't try to let everybody know just what a horrible experience you're having fasting and how spiritual you are that you're able to get through all that. Go to the Lord. You're giving to the poor, your prayer and your fasting are for the Lord. And so we shouldn't do those things in order to get the praise of men. But then he gets to the other thing that would take the place of God in our lives, and that is money. Especially in the historical context of his audience here, where many of them would have to give up much of what they possessed in order to fully serve Christ. Under the circumstances, things were going to get rough. They were going to be under persecution, trials. Many times they would be persecuted and have to flee to other towns and leave everything that they own. Sometimes they had to share what they owned in order for everyone to have everything that they needed. And they needed to learn right from the get-go that you can't serve God and money. He says you can't have two masters. You'll either cling to the one and reject the other, or you'll reject that one and cling to the other. You can't have both. You can't serve God and mammon or riches. And he says you don't really have to worry about riches. He says seek first the kingdom and all these things will be added to you. Really all we need in life is food and clothing, and God promises to provide us of those things so long as we stay dedicated to Him. But what we find is that He richly blesses us even beyond just our basic needs. But even then, if we were just reduced to those things, we still seek the kingdom, put it first, seek the Lord and His righteousness, and trust that God will help us through. We don't have to be a slave to money. We don't have to make money our utmost concern and our greatest priority. God only deserves that place. And Jesus is pointing that out here in His teachings. So let's, as we do our reading, let's kind of do some inventory once again and see how much are we letting people influence our spirituality, and also how much are we letting money damper our spirituality and keep us from wholly serving the Lord. Hopefully we can be honest with ourselves. We can pray to God to shed light on the things that maybe we aren't seeing within ourselves that are in conflict with these things. We can take it to Him and pray for the help and the strength to rid ourselves of serving mere people and mere money, and that we will truly serve the living God in His kingdom. So thank you guys for listening to the video today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.